Hello and welcome to week 4. I just thought I'd check in to make sure we're all on the same page as this is our first exam this week. For this first exam, I didn't put anything else on the agenda as far as new material goes, so you can spend the entire week focusing on preparing for and taking the exam. In future exam weeks, there will also be new material, so this is to help you kind of get in the groove of it. Make sure you read that prepping for the exam information I have in there. I updated that on Sunday. I made some last minute changes to the test, so just make sure you read through that again. The testing center is going through some growing pains right now, and they have had a lot of long lines. So kind of figure that into your planning as far as time goes. You may have to wait in line for 20 minutes or so to get in there if you're unlucky. Also, because related to that, they are moving to a temporary location so they can redo their current location. So I'll have some upcoming info for test 2. You'll probably be going to a different location for the testing center. So just a heads up on that. But for this first test, they are in their regular location. And if you're not sure where that is, there's a link in the info I have in Canvas. Let's see, in getting ready for the exam, make sure you've done everything in MyMathLab. Go back in there if you have any assignments you didn't finish. There is a late penalty, but it's fairly small, and you really need to do those problems to get practice to prepare for the test. So make sure you've done all that. Textbook exercises, look at the notations I've made. For a lot of you, it's been pretty good, actually. I just want people to be comfortable using the proper notation and saying equals when things are equal, and things like that. I just want these kind of clear arguments. Don't be afraid to draw diagrams. This stuff is very visual, this chapter 6. If you have a well-drawn diagram, that can often earn you quite a bit of extra points when things go wrong, because at least I can see from your diagram where your thinking went off. If you have an integral that makes no sense to me and there's no picture, I can't really help you out. So take the time to draw a picture. You're going to have plenty of time on the exam. This is an exam that I would give to my face-to-face class with 50 minutes, and I'm allowing you 90 minutes, so you should have plenty of time. So think about the questions, draw a diagram, don't rush. Go back over your work afterwards. But yeah, look at my notes, because those are the sorts of things that I'm expecting when I see your work on the test. Then the discussions. This is the one kind of sore spot right now. No one's participating in the discussions. Those discussion questions are going to be roughly 30% of your exam. And right now I see nothing in the discussion that would earn much of any credit. So right now, unless people are secretly knowing the answers to those discussion questions and are just not participating, I can't see anybody getting better than a C on the exam if they get everything else perfect. So you need to participate in those discussions so we can have a back and forth, so we can see what our understanding is. So you cannot ignore those discussions. They are important. They are going to be a huge part of your tests. So get on that. We've got this week. Jump on those discussions. Even the week 1 and week 2 ones, we have not arrived at any sort of understanding so far in those discussions. Week 1 a little bit. Week 2 there's been really no discussion, and week 3 no discussion. So you guys need to jump in there and throw in your 2 cents. The point here is not to give me some textbook definition of something. It's to show your understanding so I can give feedback, so we can have a back and forth, aka an actual discussion. So get in there. You're responsible for nothing else this week but the exam, so you should have time to read those discussions and get involved. And hopefully after this test, people will be a little more proactive about jumping on those discussions. I think that's all I have. Oh yeah, one other thing. I sent out an email at the very beginning of the semester. The Ask My Instructor button was not sending an email to me. It was sending it to some no longer existent email address. I did have someone click on the Ask My Instructor, but there was no comment, so I didn't know what the issue was, and I replied to it, but I got nothing back. So make sure you check your email address that you gave Pearson. When you do an Ask My Instructor and I reply, it replies to whatever email address you gave when you registered with Pearson. So make sure that's an email address that you check. And I think that's all I had. So as you're prepping for the exam, if anything comes up, feel free to ask. And I think that's it. Just a reminder, it's in there, but the testing center is not open on Sunday, so you really need to have the test completed at the very latest by the end of Saturday. And again, buffer some extra time for waiting in line, because the testing center has had long lines recently. So otherwise, moving forward, I'll try and check in every Monday with a video like this, just to kind of keep you at where we're at. I said at the beginning I was going to do that, but on week 2 and 3 I did not. So yeah, just let me know if there's anything I can do.